Hey, hi. In this video, I will show you how we can configure or how we can set up Kubernetes cluster autoscale at Amazon EKS cluster. Okay. So as you see in this picture, this is a pictorial overview of my demo where I will be creating an example EKS cluster in my AWS console or in my AWS account. And on top of that EKS cluster, what I do is I will show you like how we need to set up, Kubernetes cluster autoscale configuration so that, whenever there is a load at the pod side, then automatically the, underlying infrastructure of Amazon EKS can automatically scale in. Okay. So before I jump into the, show you the demo of configurations here, let me give some brief about what is cluster autoscale. Okay. So in previous video, I have explained you regarding the HPA, that is horizontal pod autoscale. Okay. Where, when there is a demand increases or when there is, network traffic increases on an application which is running on Kubernetes pod, then automatically the pods gets horizontally scaled up. In the sense, let's say at rest, if the pod number is 1, and gradually as the business or the network traffic and that application which is running in the pod gets increased, the horizontal pod will automatically scale the number of instances of pod in horizontal wise. In the sense, it will increase the number of pods running in the EKS cluster. That is a HPA. But there is a one more case will come where even though the number of pods gets keep on increasing, the underlying resources, okay, underlying hardware resources, for example, CPU memory of the nodes or the CPU memory and disks of a cluster can get completely occupied. Okay, so in that case, the resource throttling issues might occur. Okay, so in that case, the application might hung for some of the customers. So in that case, the cluster autoscale concept comes in picture. Okay, in the sense, it is a second layer of availability configurations that you can set up on your EKS cluster so that your application becomes highly available at next level as well. Yeah. So with that note, let's directly jump to this demo. So here what I did is I have, as usual, I documented all the required, commands that we need to run to do this demo. And these files will be shared in my, my GitHub repo, and the GitHub repo link will be shared in this video's description. Please find those documents in my, GitHub repo. Yeah. So with that note, so this is the one of the file which I will be using. Along with that, I do have other files which I have kept it here. One is the command file. The other one is the Kubernetes ESG policy file, and also the other one is cluster autoscale auto discovery configuration YAML file. Okay. Anyways, while I running these files, I will go through these files. But before that, let's directly jump to this this demo. Okay. Here I'm running the required commands with using PowerShell tool. Okay, so here I have opened the Windows PowerShell, and from there I'm just invoking the ekctl command or AWS CLI commands to configure the my AWS EKS cluster. Okay, so some part of the configuration I'm doing with using the commands, and some part of the configuration I will be using the manual. Okay, all right, yeah. So why I'm doing manual, in the sense those make sense to do manually only. That's the reason I'm just show you those configuration manually. Yeah. So here, to save the time, what I did is I set my context with using AWS CLI. I have my system installed with AWS CLI. If your system not installed with AWS CLI, please do watch my previous video as well. Yeah. So here I used AWS configure command to set the context where the access key ID, access key is already been given. And the default reason is I'm targeting to US East, and the output format is JSON. Okay. All right. After that, I'm running the ekctl command. Okay, so ekctl is a tool, command line utility from the AWS, through which you can communicate with the EKS service. Okay, all right. So if you are not installed this ekctl utility in your system also, please do watch my previous video. I have explained about how you can set up the ekctl configurations in your system. Yeah. So once the ekctl is available, you can run this command called ekctl create cluster. This is the cluster name, and here I'm using the node type t2.log since it's just a demo, whereas for the production system probably you need to choose the right node type. All right, so then the node 2, maximum at test the minimum node count that should be live and running is 2, minimum is 2, maximum it can range to 3, and the reason I have chosen is US East 1, and these are the zones I have chosen for this location. Okay. So this configuration is targeting to set up, the default nodes of EKS cluster. Nothing but these nodes are meant to set up the the management layer of EKS cluster. Okay, so probably these nodes are not probably does not fit for the running your original application parts or applications. Okay, so in that case, what we need to do is EKS provides one more layer called creating a node groups. So node group is nothing but a group of EC2 instance, which you are logically grouping under the EKS service, and on top of those EKS cluster, on top of those EKS nodes, you are configuring your required parts. Okay, so that is where the node groups comes in picture. So here this command, okay, so let me step back again. So here I have ran this command already, which will just create a management control plane. Okay, so it just creates a EKS management control plane, and okay, so it has taken almost like 15 minutes. That's the reason I have already pre-created it. So at the end of this time, it has successfully created the EKS cluster. Then I have ran the command called kubectl get nodes. It is retrieving me the right now running nodes. Okay, these are now, we can call it as a EKS master nodes. All right, so here all the EKS cluster master components will be running in these nodes. Okay, and these nodes are probably not suitable to run your applications or to run your application containers. That's the reason what we have to do is we have to go the next layer, which I will be explaining here. Okay, all right, so this is my AWS console. This is my AWS account though, and here I have created this is the EKS cluster, which is now replicating after I ran the command from here, right? So this EKS cluster is up and running fine now. So this just contains only 2 nodes at rest, and it is now having the default node groups. The default node groups is always not recommended for hosting your production applications. So in this case, since I am demoing you the cluster autoscale, so what I do is I target to configure the cluster autoscale on a separate node group. Okay, so anyways, make a note that to configure the cluster autoscale, you have to have an independent separate node group. All right, so that's the reason what I do is I have to create a cluster node group now. So as you see, there is default, so it has currently this EKS cluster has only default node groups, but there is no user created managed node groups. So for that one, what I do is I go to the I go to the EKS cluster pane. I opened here, then I'm going to the configurations, and after the configurations, I went to the node group pane, and here I'm just adding a node groups. Okay, so let me call it as a my node group. So let me type the name as a my ng, and then let me use the previously created EKS node IAM role. Whereas in your case, you can explore and create a IAM role, and same can be used here. Okay. All right, so with that, let's go to the next one. Next options we need to provide. Here, I'm not giving any Kubernetes label because since in this demo, I'm just focusing on, I'm just demoing you like, how autoscale works during the, high threshold or high network traffic level, okay? Or when there is a high resource consumption from the pod side, then how does the autoscale behaves? Okay, that is the main motive of this demo, and I will show you that how it behaves during that time. All right. So here I just give the tags. Okay, so make a note that you have to give the tags. You have to give 2 tags, which I have documented in this file. All right, so you need to give the you need to create 2 tags on those node group that you are creating here. Okay, so let me create this. So this one has to be replaced with the cluster name, right? So we have to create 2 tags on the node groups with these keys and values. And that's what I'm just doing that here. Okay, so first one is, that is the key. All right, so this is the key, that is kubernetes.io/cluster autoscaler /my cluster name, and value will be the owned is the value name. All right, so after that I will give one more key that is enabled. Okay, autoscaler enabled. So let me give that, and the value should be true. All right, so is it true? Yes, it is true. So that's all. So this is how, it's very mandatory that you need to maintain these 2 tags on your node groups. Okay, why do you need to maintain these tags? In the sense, these tags will be referenced by our autoscale pod deployment. Okay, so that pod will refer these and set up the required autoscale configuration at Kubernetes management control plane. All right, so that's the reason we have to maintain that. And after that, I just keep the further requirement, that is AMI type, that is Amazon Linux 2. of 86 and 64 bit, and capacity on demand. And instance size, let me take it as a T3 medium. Alright, disk size, I will keep it default. And the desired size, okay, so here, minimum is 2, maximum is 2. So let me keep the maximum, okay. So let me keep the maximum. So the set the maximum number of the nodes, okay. So in the sense, let me keep the maximum size equal to 5, okay. So that right now what we are seeing only 2 nodes, okay. When there is a high resource consumption time is happening from the EKS pod side, then automatically the number of nodes has to be grown to 5, something greater than this one. So that is the main motive of this demo. So here the maximum size, let me keep it 5, and the desired size, okay, set the desired number of nodes that the group should launch at initially. So let it keep it as a 2 only, all right. And then the value should be 1. So let me and whereas the subnet, okay, the subnet is I'm just choosing the default whichever the existing EKS cluster has. All right. After that, that's all. Okay, that's all. Let's create this. I will just go ahead and create this node groups. Eventually, this node group creation will take some time. So it will take 5 minutes. Okay. So meantime, okay, I will just give you brief about other advantages and other informations related to the node group, auto scale, and other concepts. Let me just give you a brief. Okay, I will just brush up during this time. All right. So here, what we do is, as I explained, why we are setting a separate node group for this demo, a separate node group for your auto scale configuration. As I explained, the main important reason is, if you want to set up your application independent of default node groups, then this is the way that you have to do. And this is the way that it has to be followed for even for the production workloads as well. All right. So that, you are segregating the underlying hardwares of your pods. Okay. Eventually, pods are nothing but pods eventually running the containers. Containers is nothing but, for the container, you will be mapping certain resources, right? For example, CPU, memory, and disk will be mapped to a particular container. And on top of that, those resources only the container will be running. Container is nothing but, it's application plus the required dependencies, binaries are grouped in a small entity called as we will call it as a container. And this container eventually needs a compute resources. It's a small reserved compute resources will be assigned to this container so that application can run on its own in its own targeted environment. Okay, so that is the reason. If we follow this node group configurations, in the sense we are segregating the required underlying infrastructure independent from the management control plane of the EKS cluster. Okay, so that is the reason. This is the best guided way, best guided way to follow the configurations at EKS cluster. It can be EKS or it can be AKS. Okay, so this is how we need to follow. Yeah. So as of now, I see that it is still under creating status. Meanwhile, let's go to the autoscale side. Okay. So if I go to the autoscale side, as of now, so this is the default autoscaling group which gets created when you spin up a EKS cluster without any node groups. All right. So this is our default autoscaling group. So as of now, you see that this is the maximum is 3. Whereas since we are creating a separate node group, and that node group have its own parallel autoscaling group. Okay. Now you see there is the parallel. Okay. So the new autoscaling group which has been created because we are creating the EKS node group, EKS separate node group. So that's the reason we have the new autoscaling group here. Okay. So it's under creation state. As you see, right, that whatever we have given from here EKS cluster. So that's where we see here the desired capacity is 2. Desired capacity is nothing but at rest how many numbers of nodes that you want to run. That is 2. The minimum capacity is 2 and maximum it can range to 5. In the sense 3 more nodes can come in during the autoscaling time. Okay, during autoscaling time is nothing but when there is a pod resource crunch is happening, then our control plane, okay, the autoscaling or the scheduling from the control plane will automatically identify the free nodes present in this EKS node group, and automatically those waiting pods gets assigned to this newly created nodes. Okay, so this autoscaling is it's kind of mechanism or it's kind of application in the EC2 where the EC2 instances are getting automatically scaled up. Okay, as of now we have only 2 nodes present under this autoscaling groups, but on demand it can grow up to 5 nodes. Okay, that is what these auto scaling group configurations tells all about. All right. So let's go back and check the status if the nodes groups are being created. Here you go. The node group is successfully created. All right. And we see that the auto scaling groups. Okay, see the auto scaling group which is belongs to newly created node groups. So this is the one which I have selected. Okay, it is also up and running fine. Okay, so with that note, now let's go to the next step. Okay, so first one I have already documented here. First we need to create a node group, and also while we are creating a node group, we have to make sure, okay, this is very mandatory, that you need to maintain this tag on your node group. Okay, so let me show you those tags now present on our node group, freshly created node group. If I go to the tag label, you see, right? So these two tags are very important, and you need to maintain these. Okay, so that auto scaling functionality can work as expected. Now let me go to the details. We'll go to the next step. The next step is, next step is we need to create, we will just describe the auto scaling groups. Okay, so let me describe the auto scaling groups. So what does this command does? This command will retrieve the existing auto scaling groups present on the our EC2 page. Okay, EC2 dashboard page. Okay, so as of now we see that there are 2 node groups. Okay, and those 2 node groups will be represented here. Okay, all right. So we are done with that describe as well. So next step is we need to create a policy. Okay. So to create the policy, we have to run this command. Okay. Before we create this policy, I will just go to the, I will just walk you through this Kubernetes-ESG-policy.json file. So this is the file. Let me open this file. So here, this file. Okay. If you go here, so this is the definition of my file. It contains only one statement where we are allowing these auto scaling actions. And resources we are targeting all, and effect is just allow. In the sense we are giving certain permissions, okay? And this policy has to be attached to our node group ARN role, okay? Role ARN. That I will show you. So let me just try to create this policy. So it says that the policy document is already present. In the sense the policy document is not present in this path. That's the reason it is throwing the error. But I need to do a CD to this path. So let me do a CD to this path. So I will go to the CD to this path. All right, now I can run this command again. It should tell something. Probably the policy might be already there, because yeah, here you go. Policy was not there. That's the reason it has successfully created the policy. Okay, so next step was to create the policy, which I have created now. And now let me go to the here. Okay, so again, this is the very important step that you need to follow. So again, let me go to the cluster, and I will show you everything from the scratch again. So we go to the cluster, we go to the configuration. From the configurations, we go to my node group, which I created. And from the detail pane, we go to the role ARN, right? Node IAM role ARN. I will click this. And here we need to attach the policy which we created here. The policy name is Kubernetes ASG policy. All right. So here, let me go here, and let me attach that policy. Okay, so here I will go here and I will find that policy. All right, attach a policy. Okay, so here since the role is not at all sure, but it is always mandatory to attach this Kubernetes ASG policy. Along with that, since it is a demo purpose, what I do is to save the time. And to make sure that it works always. That's the reason I'm just attaching the administration policy as well. But at the production level, all right. But at the production level, if you attach Kubernetes ASG policy, that is enough. Okay. I'm just attaching the administrative policy for just demo purpose, so that I just avoid the error during during runtime. But whereas in the production time, you have to make sure that you give the minimum permission. Okay. That is my recommendation. All right. So what we did here, we went there and we attached a policy to this node group IAM role. Yeah. Now next step. Okay. Now let's go to the next step. In the next step, next step is to deploy the autoscale. Okay, cluster autoscaler configurations at our Kubernetes management control plane. Okay, or Kubernetes control plane in simple word. Okay. So what we need to do is I have this. Okay, you have to go to this URL. This URL is already kept in this command dot cluster autoscale JSON file, and this file will be shared into my repo. and the repo link will be shared in this video's description. Please find there. Okay, so you need to go to this path and copy the content present in that file. Okay, so let me open that for you. So what I do is I go to this file. So if you open that file, you will have a YAML format. You just copy the content in the form of a kind of a Notepad++ and save it as save that file with using this name. All right. And once the file, so what is this? Okay, this is the this is the complete Kubernetes cluster autoscale configuration YAML definition, which you can consume as it is with smaller modification. Okay, so that modification I will just tell you here. If you go to this file and open it, right, you see there are multiple configurations. Okay, it is creating the service account, it is creating the cluster roles, right? It is creating the roles again, right? It is doing so many jobs. It is doing the role binding also. It is doing, right? It is doing the role binding, and okay, it doing so many jobs. Okay, but here you need to mention, you need to do small thing here. Okay, so here you need to do two things. Okay, so you need to make changes something here in the selected 3 lines. Okay, so if you are watching this video, watch it carefully and copy these through. Make sure that the content present in this file are same exactly, but here at the end you should replace this, okay, the selected part with your cluster name. Okay, since my cluster name is a cluster autoscales, okay, so that is my name of my cluster, so that is why I have kept my cluster name here. Okay, whereas the other contents under this command has to be as same as mentioned in this file. Okay, anyways, so this file also I will share in my GitHub repo as well. Okay, and the same GitHub repo link will be shared in the in this video's description. Okay, please find from there. All right, so so that is the configuration, that is the specifications file for cluster autoscaler. All right, so now let's run the command. Okay, so next here what we need to do is we need to just run this command. What we are doing here is we are applying the configurations present under that specification file on our EKS cluster. So let me do this. What it does is it will create those configurations on our EKS cluster. Okay, nothing but it is just spinning the cluster autoscale pod. Okay, you see it is creating a service, it is creating a role, it is creating the RBACs, it is creating the role binding, and role binding also been created, and finally it has deployed a pod. Okay, and let's see what is the pod name. Okay, so I have to run the command kubectl get pods. Okay, right now we have created kubectl get pods. So kubectl get pod is nothing but you are searching the pods present under present under default default namespace. Okay, so kubectl get pods, let me see it again. So there are no pods again. So let's go to the let's list the namespaces present under this cluster. Okay, so let me type kubectl get ns, that is get namespaces. Okay, so now you see we have these default namespaces. Now let's look into the kube system namespace. Okay, so let me check kube system namespace. Okay, so it says kubectl get pods. Okay, so I have typed the command wrong, so it should be get pod namespace kube system. We should, why I'm saying this is, you should see this pod running in the system plane. Okay, you see it has been running since 74 seconds, just a minute ago. Okay, from where we have created the where we have applied the cluster autoscaler autodiscover.yaml file. Okay, so you see cluster autoscaler pod is now running and the Kubernetes management plane or control plane. Okay, and this is the pod which is responsible for maintaining the balance at the node level. Nothing but it maintains the Kubernetes autoscale at node level. All right, so with that, now let's go to the next step. So next step is we have to check the number of nodes present at this stage. Okay, now it is a experiment time. Okay, so this is now we are coming near to our experimentation time. The experiment here, what is the experiment we are doing is we will deploy an example. We deploy an example deployment into the into the node group. Okay, as you see at rest we have 4 nodes running. Now what we do is we create a dummy deployment, okay, and we scale that deployment to a great extent, and we just create a resource crunch, okay, like we are just mimicking the a real scenario, okay. So for that purpose, what I do is I just deploy a Nginx deployment at my EKS cluster. Okay, as of now, you see at rest it was only 4 nodes, okay. So that was the reason just I ran the command called kubectl get nodes. So now let me run this command. So what I'm doing is I'm just creating a deployment here. Okay, so we are creating a deployment called autoscale demo. Okay, remember that name. Now let me run the command called kubectl get pods. Earlier we didn't see any pods, right? We should see some pods here because this pod is now getting created under default node group, default namespace. I'm sorry. Okay, that is default namespace. As you can see right now, we have only one pod as of now. All right. Now I want to scale this pod. This pod is nothing but an example application. Okay. So now we will what you do is we mimic the real time network traffic. All right. So how do I mimic? I need to scale that pod to a great extent. So how do I scale it? I can mimic that that traffic with using the using this command called scale. Scale is nothing but you are multiplying the number of pods that you are needed into the EKS cluster. So Kubernetes scale deployment. This is the command which Kubernetes gives you, through which you can scale your pods to a required number. Okay, required number of replicas. Okay, here to make the resource crunch, let me use very huge resource. Okay, I will just create 200 numbers of pods. Okay, so let me do it. Earlier we saw that there was only one pod. Now if I run the pods, okay, we should see huge loads of pods now being generated, right? You see there are so many pods now being generated. Okay, so this is the manually we are creating a resource crunch by creating the n number of pods. Okay, here I'm just targeting number 200. We created 200 pods and we are artificially creating the resource crunch into the EKS cluster at rest, okay, which will eventually trigger. Okay, so let me now go back to the figure. So here our cluster autoscale pod was here. Now earlier at rest the number of number of nodes were only 4. Okay, when there is a resource crunch across the nodes, then automatically the cluster autoscale will kick in and it will increase the number of nodes so that it can cater the need of the resources from the pod side. Okay, and that is how the management node does this configuration automatically. All right, so that is how the Kubernetes help us to have that kind of configuration automated. All right, that's the reason we call it as a Kubernetes is nothing but a container orchestrator. Okay, it is orchestrating our required need. Now let me put again. Here you go. There are so many pending pods. There are some running pods. There are still creating pods. Okay, there are some pending pods. Pending pods are nothing but the pods which didn't get any kind of resources and waiting for scheduling purpose. So that's the reason what we do is now we see the number of nodes now. Earlier we saw the count was only 4. Now we should see the count is being increased now. Here you go, right? You see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? We see 7 nodes. Okay, in the sense cluster autoscaling now it is working fine. Okay, if I go to the EC2 console, and if we check our node groups autoscaling group, I need to uncheck this, and here we see the configurations, right? So we see now earlier it was only 2. Now it has reached the maximum count. Okay, so this is how cluster autoscaling feature which is present in the Kubernetes will help us to manage the underlying infrastructure of the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so that's all I have successfully shown you the complete from scratch to end configuration of how you can set up the EKS cluster. On top of the EKS cluster, how you need to set up a separate independent node group. On top of the node group, how you need to set up the required configurations which is needed for the cluster autoscale configurations. Okay, and after that how we need to do the required configuration of the node group. For example, how we need to attach required permissions at the node group IAM role. Okay, and after that how we need to After the node group is created, how we need to configure the cluster autoscale pod into the EKS cluster, okay? And after that, we deployed a dummy deployment into our EKS cluster, okay? And after that, we did a scale, okay? We did a massive scale to up to count of 200, and then we see that the node group node count has been suddenly raised to the maximum limit which we set on our EKS cluster. That is 7 node group, okay? Earlier it was only 4. Now the 3 nodes has been increased, but still I believe that it is not sufficient for the pods to cater, because the 200 pods are too much, okay? That is the reason we see some of the still we see pending. But in general case, okay, it's the architect's decision that they have to decide how much traffic they're going to get, and what are the underlying infrastructure has to be there, okay? So these are the architectural decision that they have to take care to solve. These are the problems, okay? To solve this problem, EKS cluster or Kubernetes provides a capability called cluster autoscale, okay? And that is what I have demoed you for this one. All right. So with that note, I have completed this demo. Thank you very much for watching my videos. Kind request, please do subscribe my channel. That would really encourage me a lot, okay? So with that note, thank you. Thanks a lot.